Hello, this is the second in a series of videos on the subject of clubfoot and clubfoot correction. In the first video we talked about definitions, the architecture of the foot. In this video we will talk about the objectives of correction and begin to discuss some of the techniques of correction. What we are discussing is the Ponseti method, which is different from surgical methods that have been the tradition in the past for correction of clubfoot. In the Ponseti method, the technique is manual rather than surgical. The objective is to manipulate the foot into a corrected position rather than slicing the foot surgically to achieve a corrected position. Again, recalling the definitions of the architecture of the foot, it's important to remember where the forefoot is and what the deformities of the forefoot are, where the midfoot is and what the deformities of the midfoot are, and where the hindfoot is. And the reason it's important to remember that is because the Ponseti method is a manipulation and casting technique. Casting means immobilizing. And the effectiveness of the Ponseti method relies on a sequence of corrections, the very first of which is correcting the forefoot deformity, which is pronation and cavus. So here is the forefoot of a person's clubfoot, the metatarsals. And you can see from this picture the curvature caused by this forefoot pronation and cavus. The first step in the correction of a clubfoot is a supination, an upward and outward twisting of the bones of the metatarsals. In some cases in the literature, it's called a lifting of the first ray. But the objective is to turn this curvature into flatness. And I hope you can see this in the model that I am holding. So, correction of cavus is the very first step, and the technique is supination. These are medical terms that are very important because they have to do with how the foot is manipulated and the positions that are achieved, the reduction of the talonavicular joint. The second objective is the correction of the adductus, or the inward turning of the midfoot. And this is achieved by abduction, abduction, as opposed to adduction, which is AD as in David duction. So you abduct the foot, you turn it outward in order to achieve this normal position. The third step in the correction of the clubfoot is equinus, which cannot be achieved by casting, but instead can only be achieved by a resection or a cutting of the Achilles tendon. So to summarize, the Ponseti method is a casting method. It's a casting technique that involves correction of the forefoot and the midfoot by manipulation and immobilization, which is casting. First by correcting the cavus of the forefoot, second by correcting the adduction of the midfoot, both of those by casting, and thirdly and finally the correction of the equinus in the hindfoot, which is done percutaneously by tenotomy. We'll discuss this more in the next video. Thank you.